Hello everyone, I'm Ken Reels, and welcome to This Anime, the podcast that talks about anime past, present, and future, all with the exclamation of This Anime. And this is your This Anime for the month of October 2022. And it is great to be back. It is Season 4. We've got new music as our intro, and also, we're here. We're finally here. This is Season 4. A little bit changed up in terms of what I wanted to do for October. I originally planned to have it premiere 3 weeks ago. However, I made the decision to not do that and to put it at the end of the month, specifically because I wanted to do a return of the watch, which is going to be our seasonal anime talk, and I'm going to be talking about the seasonal anime that I'm watching. Obviously, we're going to keep it minimal. There's only going to be 3 shows that we're going to be covering on that segment, and that will be at near the end of the program. But the main topic for this is going to be about My Hero Academia Movie 2 and Movie 3. So that's My Hero Academia Heroes Rising and My Hero Academia World Heroes Mission. Oh boy. But yeah, no, we're back. We got some new music to introduce the show, as well as we're gonna have a new end bumper, hopefully. I'm still in the process. I haven't gotten the chance to sit down and actually talk with my two different hosts. The owner that I use for my URL for this anime podcast, as well as Spreaker and Podbean, in order to get the thisanimepodcast.com to link to the Spreaker, to at least redirect to the Spreaker site. So that's in the process of happening. Hopefully I'll get the chance to do that in the next month or so that will be fixed, hopefully. I'm hoping. And yeah, no, that's gonna be all the little window dressing out of the way. We're gonna go ahead and jump right into My Hero Academia Heroes Rising.
I'll have to kill you if you're in the way. My hero.
The Hero Work Recommendation Project. You'll be stationed here on Nabu Island in southern Japan. While you're there, you'll be completely on your own. No teachers to help you or pros to back you up.
This isn't an internship or a work study. We're talking about the real thing.
And I'm sure we can continue to count on you.
I'm on the way!
What kind of hero would you want to be?
I'd want to be a super strong one who could beat up villains.
Oh, come on. There aren't any villains on this island.
Playtime is over. I finally found it.
Our dream will become a reality.
The new world that we fought to build. I can almost see it.
The strong will lord over the weak in my utopia. Power will be the only factor that matters.
One for all! 100%! If I can't protect those two, then I can't call myself a hero!
This is a race against time.
We're the only heroes on this island. We're the only ones who can save the people here.
We're gonna kick the crap out of these losers. We won't stop now! I'll blast this villain with everything I've got! Detroit!
So, this movie specifically was... When I first saw this movie in theaters, I was just kind of like, yeah, no, this is this fulfills the action-oriented aspect of My Hero Academia. I think it's one of the best in terms of its action. Like, the action in this movie is bar none the best out of the three. I think it fulfills every single character getting their own big fight. Every single character gets to do something significant and turns the tide of the battles that they're in. And they're all great in that aspect. I think one of the big things that stands out is its climactic fight between our main villain and Deku and Bakugo. And Horikoshi did say in an interview this was originally how he wanted to end the series. Obviously, that's not the actual ending and not where we got to this point. And he obviously changed his mind on that. But I can definitely see this happening. And specifically because of our main villain being so powerful and essentially being a copy of All for One, it's not really that surprising that it would be that way. And yeah, it really, this movie really, really hits harder in its action than some of the other stuff. And like Nine as a character is just kind of window dressing. Obviously there is a little bit more decisions to be made with trying to integrate Nine into the overall story, and how that character actually has some connection to what goes on in the manga. Obviously, we just fully are introduced to the Doctor in season 6, but we did get some of him in season 5. The Doctor is, as where this falls in terms of its adaptation is, and where it falls in like the timeline of the show is very weird. Like I kind of put it like right at the end of season 4, beginning of season 5, somewhere around there. But it's not necessarily, it's vague in where it falls in the timeline compared to obviously the third movie where we know exactly where that falls in the timeline. And I've said this before on the rewatch series when I talked about season 4 and season 5. This is fine. Like the final battle between Deku and Bakugo obviously is super significant given the fact that Deku passes on all for one, and it's hard to really quantify it. I love this movie. It's very, very cool, but it just doesn't satisfy me on a story standpoint. And I think that is the main, like my main issue with this movie. Like it's great. It's a great movie. It's very satisfying in terms of its action, but I don't like how it I'm not as satisfied with its story with the two kids. And like, don't get me wrong, the two kids are very, very fun. I love the dynamic that they have with Deku and Bakugo. But it doesn't click for me as strongly as the story in World Heroes Mission in comparison. And like, it's a lot less superfluous as two heroes, but I don't think this movie hit the same mark as World Heroes Mission. I think it is a solid film. I really do love it. But I think Heroes Rising satisfies on its action. It doesn't satisfy on its story. And I think that's the key difference between the two. And obviously, like, you talk about the voice cast in this. Obviously, everyone is good. You've got... You obviously have a legend in Johnny Young Bosch as your main bad guy. Like, that's fun. That's fun to get Johnny Young Bosch in there. In some way, just as a guest. And it's... I love it. I love that little nod of getting someone legendary like him to voice your bad guy. Okay. And Johnny Young Bosch just like gives this gravitas to that character. Obviously, that it so rightly deserves, even though there's very little screen time. And like, yeah, you've got the intro sequence with Spitter and Spitter Dobby and Mr. Compress transporting Nine somewhere, and then he escapes and blah blah blah. It just feels a little disingenuous. As for like Nine's crew, I think Nine's crew is fine. They've got some interesting powers. You've got Chimera, who's literally Chimera. Pretty simple on that front. Mummy has a pretty cool power. He can just possess inanimate objects that he wraps in his bandages, which is nice. And you've got Slice, who's got like... She's kind of a mix between like Medusa from Marvel's Inhumans, if Medusa had like deadly hair, like her hair would turn into knives. So like her hair is knives, but she has like Medusa like powers where she can like extend her hair as knives and stuff, and that's pretty interesting. And then there's the kids. The kids played in the dub by Maxie Whitehead and Danny Chambers. And they're both good. The kids are fine. Whenever you have little kid characters, you kind of instantly go, oh god, it's one of those situations, isn't it? And I mean, I've already said it before, but we do get some Hawks in this. And Zeno Robinson, like, damn, that is smooth ass voice. Like, you can't go wrong. Everyone else in the dub, obviously all of Class 1A is on this island, and then 9 attacks and everything. Eric Vale as Shigarashi shows up at the end to just kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna just wipe 9 off the map here. We're just gonna wipe the villain out of existence because movies, and we gotta return back to the status quo kind of thing, and it's like, whatever. And obviously, like, overall, it's fine. This is a fine movie. I don't hate it, but I also don't necessarily love it as much as World Heroes Mission, which we will get to momentarily. But yeah, no, My Hero Academia Heroes Rising is fine. It's just fine. Like, it's an 8 out of 10. I don't think it's as exceptional. I think it's better than Two Heroes. I really do. I think Two Heroes is very superfluous. This is less superfluous. And getting to see the idea that Bakugo and Deku together are able to beat One for All's kind of beat All for One's kind of power. It's, even if it's a copy of it, like, that's interesting. That's an interesting idea. Obviously, Clifford Chapman and Justin Briner just nail it. Clifford, Bakugo is my boy, and like, he just gets so much better, and he continues to get better as the series progresses, and he's definitely he's my standout. And I actually love the fact that one of the girls, the little girl, becomes like a fanboy of Bakugo, while the little boy is also becomes a fan of Deku, and that's cool. That's a cool dynamic. And that's the good part about it. Like, I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's like not super exceptional, and I think that's the standout of it. Some of the other guests that come in, you've got Lydia Mackey as Slice, Greg DeLucy as Chimera, Brandon Blabber as Mummy, and yeah, we even get a cameo by the guy who's the head of the commission, Mira, played by Kenny Green. And Kenny Green has like that perfect energy for that character. He's just like always tired. And yeah, no, like, it's mostly just the kids standing out and running their own service on this island, and it's fine. It's just fine. I think its action is superb. And if you're going to go into this movie, you're going to go into the fights. And they're all great. Like, every single one of the fights in this is well choreographed, well played out. It's great. It's a great bit of action. But yeah, no, that's My Hero Academia Heroes Rising, and we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll do the second movie. So that we'll be back with that after this.
Why were superhuman powers, the meta abilities known so casually as quirks, forced upon our kind? These quirks bring about nothing but tragedy. They are not a blessing on our world, but the beginning of its end. We Humerise must take action. Even if it means dyeing the earth red with blood.
Your leader's gone. Search the premises.
I repeat, Humerise has placed bombs around the world. The weapons are set to explode in 1 hour and 52 minutes unless the heroes are able to find and disarm them worldwide.
Heroes, success or failure of this task rests on your shoulders.
This is it, heroes. Start your mission.
Go! Their swing!
Protect the heroes. Our friends. And the world.
Your humans are being threatened by the sickness of quirks. The gravely afflicted are beyond our help.
Deku!
I won't give up! Because Deku would never give up!
Welcome back to this anime, and we are talking My Hero Academia Heroes, World Heroes Mission. World Heroes Mission is, I think, peak. If you're gonna go out big, because obviously they're not doing a movie this year, and I don't think they're planning on doing a movie in the future for this series. So to end a trilogy of movies, this is easily a significantly better production in terms of its action, in terms of its music. Obviously, I didn't talk about the music in Heroes Rising because the music is just okay. It doesn't stand out as much as it does in Two Heroes, as well as it does in World Heroes Mission. World Heroes Mission, I think, is absolutely the peak of the music. This is peak Hayashi's music has gone. It really stuck with me how good the music is in this. And I really like I really like how this dynamic happens with Rody and Deku, and you're like, okay, now you're splitting up the story between all these different characters. I think it finds a great balance at, okay, here's this, the first 5 minutes, here are the stakes, here's what's going on, and it sets the stakes perfectly, and then it goes, okay, here's the main wrinkle of it, that Deku gets framed for this for something that he did not do whatsoever, and it's pretty clear, and it's obvious, he got framed. Everyone knows he got framed, but bureaucracy and bullshit has kind of prevented it, and the fact that the main villain in this Flect, his theories have absolutely infiltrated the police force in this city that they go to, and it really stands out. Like, and Flect as a villain is, you're going like, okay, this isn't much of a fight between the two characters. I think the best fight of this movie is actually goes to Bakugo. Bakugo's fight with these like blade twin guys is way cooler than any of the other stuff. And you have like you have also other characters where I'm like, oh, this is a really cool power. On the villain side, like we have Beros, who is like a sniper archer character that's really, really cool. I love that. I really love that character. And like, then you got Todoroki's fight, and Todoroki's fight is lame as fuck. Like, Todoroki got shafted in this movie. Like, he got a really cool fight in Heroes Rising with Chimera, but his fight with Leviathan is just so lame. It mostly consists of him almost being drowned underwater, and that's it. That's all that it is. It's just him randomly being drowned underwater, and it sucks. It really sucks. And the idea that you have these different characters that become heroes, like Rody is not the hero type character, and he really isn't. And his power, like his quirk, is actually just this bird, Pino, that his inner emotions show through Pino. And like, that's an interesting idea for a quirk. And it just goes to show the versatility of these quirks and how you can take anything that is perceived as a disadvantage and bring it to and make it an advantage. I mean, the same thing with Flect. Flect, his power is quite literally the power of reflection. Like, he is always, no matter what happens, everything he does reflects back at the person that administered it. So no touch whatsoever. And he's just like, no, like, I will always have this curse. And Deku's just like, you didn't try hard enough. And he quite literally paces Flect's quirk and just absolutely smashes him in the face, because of course. And that fight, despite it being phenomenally animated and surprisingly bloody, like, this movie gets pretty brutal. Like, holy crap. And like significantly bloody, which is super surprising to me. Like, I did not expect it to get as bloody as it was. especially in that last fight where it's like, I'm just gonna use lasers and completely murder this kid. And it's just like, holy crap. Like you feel the weight of the stakes in this. And like the global threat of this movie feels weighty compared to the other two films where you're just like, yeah, this is a threat, but it doesn't feel like the stakes are as high as the movie wants them to be. This, I think, balances the stakes of how dangerous this actually is for these characters versus the overall global world. Like you feel the stakes in this a hell of a lot more than you feel them in Two Heroes and Heroes Rising. And I think that is the advantage of it. As well as the idea that, like, oh yeah, no, Black Whip is just straight up Spider-Man web swinging, especially with this movie where you have these very beautiful sequences of Deku using Black Whip and just like flying around this bridge while Beros is trying to shoot them with her quirk arrows. It really, it's great. Like, I love that sequence, and the music specifically, that sequence stood out to me because of the music. The music in that sequence is phenomenal. I can't say enough about just the sequence in terms of the animation, in terms of the music. It just blew me away in the theater, and it still blows me away rewatching it now. It's a great piece. Like, I absolutely love it from start to finish. It is absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, like, you get all these different characters. And every single character genuinely gets some time in the spotlight. Not necessarily as focused as it was in Heroes Rising. Heroes Rising, like, literally all of Class 1A gets a moment. That's really cool. As for this, it mainly focuses on the big three, Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki. And they are clearly the main cast, and everyone else is a supporting cast member. As well as Rody being our movie original character. And I really do love this movie way more than I love Heroes Rising. Like, I will happily rewatch this movie more than I will Heroes Rising or Two Heroes. Like, and I'm happy for the rewatch and the decision to do the rewatch series. Now that I'm a couple of weeks out from that rewatch series, it really helped to take a look at back at what was, and knowing where we're going. There's a lot that I picked up on, and there's still a lot that I picked up on even watching this movie, where I'm like, okay, we're still it's an addition to the themes of the show versus the other two movies where I feel like it didn't feel as coherently connected to the actual show. This feels like a My Hero Academia movie compared to the other two where it just feels like we're going through the standard anime movie motions. And I think that's where I stand with this. This is the superior. This, I think, has the perfect balance between its action and story, even though I think Heroes Rising's action is far superior among all three movies. This one, I think, finds the perfect balance between those. And, like, yeah, no, this is great. And, like, even, like, the fight with Bakugo, Bakugo and the, like, serpentine blade dudes, like, that is a brutal fight. Like, it gets bloody as hell, and Bakugo, like, you're kind of like going, holy crap, Bakugo's gonna, like, bleed out. No, he's not, but, like, it's one of those, like, jeez, man, that's a lot of brutality. And, like, Bakugo literally brings the house down on them, and that's the only way he can fully beat them, where it's just like, wow, that was brutal. And it was a perfect matchup for Bakugo's character in terms of how he fought and his villain fought. And then, like, Todoroki just gets shafted with Leviathan. Leviathan is just absolutely, like, the countermeasure to Todoroki's power, so it's like absolutely pointless. And, like, the way Todoroki beats him, it's just like, yeah, no, sure, we'll go with that kind of fight. And I will give credit where credit is due to Robbie Daymond, who plays Fleck in the movie. Great. Robbie Daymond has this gives Fleck this great priest-like gravitas to the character, as he should. So I can't deny that, like, Fleck's voice work in the dub is significant. And also Ryan Colt Levy plays Rody, and you just, like, yeah, no, this is a character. I instantly believe this character. I instantly connect with this character, and Ryan does an absolute great job at that. So yeah, overall, like, I think World Heroes Mission is the best My Hero Academia movie. It's still an 8 out of 10 for me, but it's easily the best stuff out of all three movies. Do I think it's the best? Do I think it's great as an overall addition to the show? Yes. Is it necessary? No, obviously. Any of these movies aren't necessary, but it really does cement some of the theming that we see later on in the show, and it also just cements some of the themes and just kind of expands the global picture of what this world has to offer. And I think for doing that, the movie does a better job than the other two films, where you're just like, okay, I love these characters, and I'm happy that they get their moments to shine, obviously, but this is a great story for a movie. And it's a great representation of the show. And to bring that to a new audience kind of situation, like, I love this. I love this movie. I've obviously talked about it a hell of a lot more than I talked about the last Heroes Rising, because I love it. I absolutely love this. This is the movie that I will 100% rewatch more than I will Heroes Rising. Heroes Rising I'll watch segments of. This is a great movie from start to finish that I enjoy watching. Yeah, that's all I really have to say about World Heroes Mission. And yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and take another quick break, and when we come back, it's time for the watch, ladies and gentlemen. So don't go anywhere. We're gonna take a look at what I am watching this fall season, as well as do a wrap up for the show. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back. Welcome back to this anime, and yeah, it is time for the watch. This is the series that we're going to be covering all of the seasonal anime that we're talking about, and we're going to be talking about 3 series for this season. For the record, I am also watching some other stuff on the side. I will not cover that on this show specifically. I might talk about it at the end of the year in terms of what I watched for the season, but we're not going to be covering them episode to episode for this show. So we're going to be talking about episodes 1 through 4 of 3 series. We're going to be talking about Shinobi no Ittoki, My Hero Academia Season 6, and Mo Soup Gundam, The Witch from Mercury. So we're going to start with the obvious choice, and that is My Hero Academia Season 6. Now, I obviously, doing the rewatch, I know what was going into this. I knew a general idea where we stood in the series as a manga reader, so, and also doing the rewatch, I knew where everything that was going on. I'm happy that they didn't start with a recap episode. I am so happy that they didn't do that. That was my main concern going into it, where I was just like, please do not do a recap episode. And they didn't. They just went, all right, balls to the wall, we're going straight in. And I'm so happy for that. Obviously, when this episode gets posted, episode 5 will be out. But obviously, I can't record that while talking about it, so we're only covering the first 4 episodes. And I'm really happy. I'm super happy with how this season 6 turns out. And also, given the fact that the way the ED ends, I know exactly where we're going to stop in season 6. And I'm super excited. I'm super excited that we're actually going to get to a very pivotal sequence in the series. And also, we get my favorite splash page of the My Hero Academia manga is coming up in the second core of season 6, and I'm so excited. This is by far my favorite splash panel period, and I can't wait to see that get animated. It's gonna be epic. I'm pumped. I'm super pumped. Obviously the way they're pacing this season, I'm really happy they're giving time and weight to what is going on, because we're finally getting Shigaraki in his full form, and this upcoming fight, as it's being set up, obviously Shigaraki just woke up at the end of episode 4. The upcoming fight is gonna be epic, and I'm so excited. Like, the amount of epicness that this upcoming fight was, I was questioning whether the series was going to end at that point. Like, I was like, wait, are we gonna end in this sequence? Like, this is the end? Like, I was really questioning whether this was the end. Just the weight and the power that was represented, you just felt it. You felt that weight coming on. And I love that. I love that aspect of it. And like, as the way it's being paced right now, I'm super excited. I'm super excited for what they're doing, and I can't wait to see what they bring to the table with season 6. Overall, like, these first 4 episodes, stellar job. The animation's amazing. Mirako is just like killing it. Like, they're killing it on the animation for her. And this was like her big moment to shine. Like, this is a big moment to shine for that character, and they absolutely nailed it. Some of the splash pages get translated beautifully. Like, I remember a lot of these sequences in the manga, and they do a great job at translating them. Overall, season 6 is starting off really, really strong. I'm super happy. I'm excited to see how they do the battle with Shigaraki, as well as a major reveal that is gonna kind of close out this first core. Like, that major reveal is gonna be epic, and I love, like, the opening animation is so great. The OP is just absolutely stellar. I love that, the way it is, and it's absolutely perfect. Like, it's absolutely perfect. I'm super excited for what season 6 brings. So here's hoping they keep going with the quality, because it's great. I'm excited. And so let's go into the series that I decided to choose on a whim, because I was like, I like the animation house that's behind it. And I like their style of work. So let's try this. And that is Shinobi no Ittoki. Now, when I saw the first when I'm watching the first episode of this show, and I'm like, okay, I can call almost everything that's happening here. Like, I 100% called this girl that's pretending to like him, very obviously pretending to like him, and you're just like, yeah, no, you are 100% faking it. You want to kill his ass. And turns out, yes, you do want to kill his ass. And the plot of this is, you have Ittoki Sakabura, was an ordinary student until his life was turned upside down. He finds out he is the 19th heir to the famous Iga ninjas. The Iga must try to defend what is theirs from the Koga, a rivaling clan seeking to end Ittoki's life. Ittoki is left with no choice but to become a shinobi that's strong enough to not only protect himself, but also his village. Now a student at the Kokoten Ninja Academy, a high school specializing in shinobi techniques, Ittoki learns the way of the modern-day ninja, equipped with high-tech suits and gadgets, together with students from other villages. Ittoki clashes with the Koga in an attempt to end the rivalry once and for all. And I think the main standouts of this are the simplicity of the characters allow for the animation to just absolutely nail it. And one of the main things that stands out to me is Kotetsu, that character played by Hakara Shinrashi, and just the animation on that character is so specific, because you only see her eye, you only see the top of her face because she's always wearing a mask. And I don't know what the deal is with that character. We might find out later on why she always wears a mask. But I love the expressiveness of that and subtlety with that character in terms of the animation, because all they're working with is just her eyes and eyebrows and nothing else. Like you can't see the mouth, you can barely see the nose, and just the amount of expression that you can show with just those pieces of the face is spectacular. And it shows just how strong Troika's animation team is. And oh man, and like her voice work is absolutely spectacular. I can't say enough about Haruka's voice work, and she plays Aspira in Golden Kamui. That kind of fits. And yeah, she's just she has a great cadence to her voice that you're just like, okay, I understand this character a heck of a lot more than I do anything else. And then you also have you have Ittoki at this school setting, but then you also have this second thing where you have the Koga, who are at war with on a cold war with the Iga, and it turns out like the Koga blame the Iga for the death of the head of their clan, and obviously they're being framed. Like, obviously the Iga are being framed for it. It's pretty clear what's going on. And like the new head of the Koga is clearly some maniacal dude, that puppet master that's kind of playing the strings and stuff. And at the end of episode 4, we learn that the head of the Koga's autopsy found that there was a microchip in his brain. And that is alarming. Obviously, and then also on top of the fact that apparently their main suspect, like the secondary, like this investigation unit these ninjas, their main suspect is Ittoki's uncle, Tokisada Kaga, played by Katsuyuki Konoshi, who I don't see much of his. I haven't seen much of his work, but oh no, he's fucking Tengen from Demon Slayer. Okay, that makes sense. He just has this he's the cool uncle that can do all these really cool things, and like I really like that element to his character. You also have Ittoki's mother, Yumika, who is just a stand-in head of the clan for the moment until Ittoki becomes competent and actually becomes the actual successor to the clan. Successor as head of the clan. She's basically just an interim at the moment, and she's great. Like, you're just like, no, we've got to be very. We've got to stick with everything, and she's placing all her bets on Ittoki becoming the next head of the clan, and if that doesn't happen, that's going to be very, very hard for her. And overall, this show has been very solid for its first 4 episodes. I don't hate any of it. What I do feel is I think as the series has gone on, you're just kind of like, okay, I know the basic gist of what's going to happen, but I want to see how these characters interact. I'm already endeared to a lot of these characters, which is super great. Like, after episode 4, I'm like, oh, I get every single member of Ittoki's group. Like, I understand every single character's role in this. And then the end of episode 4, we throw the monkey wrench in that apparently there's a spy amongst this new group of friends. So now we have this idea that, okay, now we gotta figure out who's the spy amongst these people. And that sucks. Like, Ittoki's just kind of like, oh, I'm finally becoming part of this school and having a group of friends and whatnot. And then Setsu just kind of brings up the fact that, like, no, someone is obviously being a spy for Koga. There's no way they would have, like, the episode 4, they have to steal plans. They have to steal the answers for a test using their ninja skills and ninja tools. And the Koga guys apparently took the plans before them and planted fake ones. And so they failed the exam. Okay, sucks. Whatever. Okay, that sucks. But then Kusetsu goes like, no, wait. How the hell did the Koga figure out that we were stealing that version of the plans? Someone must have leaked that to them. So, and the only people that knew of which of the plans we were going to get, because there were multiple copies of these test answers, the only one that knew that was our group of people. So obviously there's a spy amongst us. And you're just like, oh man, that stinks. Like, I feel connected with all these characters in such a short amount of time that I'm really invested in the character drama of it all. So even though the story itself is very cliche, the characters are so endearing that I'm really enjoying watching this show. And like I've talked about it for a significant amount of time. So like I really am enjoying this show. And I can't say it enough. Like this is a show that's being slept on. I 100% recommend checking this one out. You are going to basically the first 2 episodes, like you immediately know what the heck's going on, blah blah blah. You can kind of figure stuff out, exactly how it's going to play out. But what really stands out is Ittoki and his new group of ninja friends at this ninja school. Like, I'm immediately endeared to all of them. So I'm looking forward to more monkey wrenches and more stuff to come from it. And like high-tech ninjas is a really cool concept. Like, I like the ninja tech as well. The ninja tech's pretty cool. So hands off to Troika as well as DMM Pictures. Mostly Troika is doing the animation for this, but DMM is also helping with production on this. But overall, this is a very solid show. So far, it's very solid. I'm hoping its characters carry it. Its story, I don't think is going to carry it necessarily. I kind of already know a general idea on what is going to happen. I don't know the how or the why, but I have a general idea on what's going on with the Koga and them framing Ittoki's uncle and kind of where it's going to go. And apparently from the preview for episode 5, we're going to get an idea on the head of the ex-head of the Koga that died. We get a little backstory, and with him, we get a little backstory on that character, as well as the rival bully character from the Koga clan, who's just kind of like, I'm just biding my time. I want to be honorable enough where I'm not going to just flat out attack Ittoki. I'm going to plan this out specifically to exact my revenge, because apparently he was close to the head of the Koga. And apparently we're going to get some flashbacks with that in episode 5. So I'm looking forward to that. I really am. This show is obviously one of the standouts, and obviously, like, I like looking at more obscure stuff like this overall. So yeah, Shinobi Ittoki is one to look out for. And that brings us to the last one that I want to talk about for this seasonal anime, and that is Mobile Suit Gundam: The Witch from Mercury. Now, technically there are 5 episodes, because there is a prologue episode. There's a prologue prequel episode for this show that got put up as well. So technically there are 5 episodes for this, but out of the overall series, there are 4 episodes. So the prologue setup of this is that, okay, and like, just a background is, I don't know a lot about the Gundam universe. I am not big on the Gundam universe. I don't necessarily have connections to Gundam as much as I do some other shows. So I don't know a lot about it. I know very, very little. And I think this is a great solo kind of introduction to the Gundam universe. It still feels like it's a Gundam show, but there's a lot less there's a lot more different things going on specifically. And the way it's looking, like it feels like it's kind of it's Revolutionary Girl Utena in the Gundam universe. And I kind of dig that aesthetic. And so you have like this school drama, but you have battles and duels in Gundams, which cool. And you have this main character who is distinctly connected to her Gundam. And I don't know the specifics of it, but basically the type of Gundam that she has is outlawed in this world. And it involves like this cerebral connection to the machine, and like that technology has been banned, and like her mother and father were a part of the last remnants of this technology, like the last scientists that were working with this tech. And in the prologue we see Suletta Mercury, her mother and her escaped in the last of these Gundam. And like the father sacrifices himself, and you're just like, oh my god, that like, it didn't get, I almost cried, like I got very emotional with it. It didn't necessarily hit, but like the weight, it felt weighty. You felt the weight of what was going on. And obviously, like, you have the great music vocalist Lin, who's playing the other main female kind of love interest ? Mirorin. Like, I love the dynamic between Suletta and Miroin. Miroin is obviously the rich girl. She knows what her father is, the head of this this conglomerate organization that basically rules the entire galaxy. Like, her father is the president of this megacorp. So she's essentially royalty. She's essentially royalty. And Suletta is the ultimate country bumpkin. Like, they even kind of define her as a country bumpkin at a couple of points. And then you also have this dynamic of that we get introduced in episode 4, where you have this tension between Earth and the space colonists. So you have these characters from Earth that are all Earthlings, and they look down on the Spacians, and Spacians look down on the Earthlings, and you have this dynamic of mutual hatred between these two groups of people. And the main pilot for the Earthlings, Choo-Choo, her character, holy crap, in episode 4, she is a bet. Like, I was immediately endeared to her because she had such a unique hairstyle to her. Because she has, like, these pom-pom, this, like, big poofy hair with the pom-poms and everything. Like, the pom-pom hair. And she just flat out knocks the crap out of these two girls. And I'm just like, holy I did not expect it to be so well animated and so brutal. How she just knocks the floor with these two girls. Like, the first girl she punches, she just knocks out flat cold. Like, just cold cocks her so hard. She's down for the count. And you're just like, holy shit. That's awesome. And then you have there's so many, like, you have all this political dynamics, and it's really cool. Like, I really love, again, the same thing with this series that I do with Shinobi no Ittoki. The characters are so deep and rich and beautiful, and I love all of them. And I'm so interested in what they and where they're going that I'm immediately endeared to this entire cast. I can't wait to see where this series is going. And I'm really hesitant to get into Gundam, specifically because it's just like I don't get necessarily into Gundam as a whole. I don't want the weight of the Gundam universe on me, and all that knowledge. And it feels like this is a great gateway to Gundam, where you get some of that political drama, you get some of that, all these ideas that I know the Gundam series has, while being standalone as well. So it really helps. Like, it really helps. I'm really excited to see where this show goes in the coming bits. And also, it's a 2-core. However, they're going to take the winter off, so this will be back in the this will have its 12 episodes for this season, and then take a season off, and then in the spring it's coming back. So I'm super excited. And I'm very interested to see where this is going. So I can't wait. And also, just like the art in this show is so beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. It's a beautifully animated Gundam series, and I can't say enough about that. And I also can't say enough about the score. The score for this series definitely stands out. The score, I need to look this guy up specifically, because he Takashi Omoma, yeah, Takashi Omoma. He hasn't got a lot on his resume, as it were. This is like his first big series, because he has 2 movies that just came out, and he has this series. Like, he's got this great Sawano level of style to him, where I'm like, this feels very Sawano, but it's also his own thing. And I think that really helps with the overall dynamic. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to check that. You guys really should check this series out. And if you're not a Gundam fan, I would also recommend checking this out. This is something that is standalone enough where you're not going to get all the weight of the franchise on you, and you can fully understand what the heck's going on. You can understand the political machinations of everything, and it just gives you a nice little taste of the Gundam universe from a different perspective, from this very school perspective, high school drama kind of vibe. And I'm sure that vibe is going to completely flip on its head leading into the second half of this series. Like, the end of this core is going to have some big revelation that is going to absolutely shake up the entire dynamic of the show. Like, I don't doubt that that's going to happen. So, I'm looking forward to what this show is bringing, which from Mercury is definitely a must-watch for me. And with that, guys, that is going to be it for this episode of This Anime. For this month, I'm super happy we're back. Glad I'm watching some really good stuff for the seasonal anime, and I'm glad I finally finished out the My Hero movie trilogy. As for what we're doing next month, we are we're going to be covering it because it has been the big show to talk about. We're going to be talking about it like weeks and weeks late, but we're going to finally talk about Cyberpunk Edgerunners, the new series from Studio Trigger, and also the first Studio Trigger series we're covering here on This Anime, which is crazy. Like, I love Studio Trigger. I'm completely baffled that I haven't covered a Studio Trigger show in the many episodes that we have on this anime. We haven't covered a Studio Trigger show. And yeah, no, I love Trigger very wholeheartedly, and I'm super excited to watch Edgerunners, and I know I'm probably going to get my heart ripped out of me with how this series has been is infamous for already, for just ripping your heart out. I'm really excited. Trigger has always done great work, and it seems like this series is found the perfect story for them. So I'm looking forward to it. So we're going to cover Cyberpunk Edgerunners next month, as well as we're going to be covering, obviously, Mobile Suit Gundam Witch from Mercury, Shinobi no Ittoki, and My Hero Academia Season 6 on the watch. That's going to be it for this episode, guys. Thank you guys for listening. Follow me on Twitter at KenReels. Follow the podcast at ThisAnimePod. ThisAnimePodcast.com will eventually redirect you to the Spreaker page. That will be remedied very shortly, hopefully. But again, I don't know how long it's going to take. Again, moving hosts, it's going to take some time. But that's going to be it. I'm going to get out of here, guys. Keep watching some anime, folks. See you guys next month. Bye. Thank you for listening to This Anime.
Okay, Master. Let's kill the whole.
No. If anything, just like us on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/thisanimepodcast. Follow the podcast on Twitter at thisanimepod, or comment on our episode posts over at thisanimepodcast.com. That's This Anime Podcast on Facebook, at thisanimepod on Twitter, and thisanimepodcast.com.
Yes. Oh my god.
This Anime is available on Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, and Google Play/podcasts. If you're listening on one of those platforms, please consider subscribing, rating, and or reviewing on those platforms to help us grow. Every time you do so, it helps this anime take over